Alabama tops 200 cases of the coronavirus. Today, the Alabama Department of Public Health confirmed 215 cases statewide in a total of 25 counties. Jefferson County has almost half with 90. Shelby County, 24. Lee and Madison counties each have 21.
Well, today, Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin proposed a shelter-in-place ordinance to the City Council to help stop the spread of COVID-19 in Jefferson County. WVTM 13 Xavier Harris was in that meeting and joins us live now. Xavier, why does the mayor feel this ordinance needs to pass?
Well, Brittany, less than 2 hours ago, Mayor Randall Woodfin said with the spread of this virus happening so rapid, these measures had to be taken to slow down that spread. Now, according to the state, at least 215 cases are in Alabama, and Woodfin says at UAB alone, there are at least 81 patients in isolation, with 18 of those patients on ventilators. All of this happened over the last 12 days. He says this ordinance could possibly change those numbers. So you may ask yourself, what exactly does the ordinance shelter in place mean?
It does not apply to public safety or emergency service activities like law enforcement, fire and rescue, and emergency management. It does not apply to first responders, public health workers, emergency dispatchers, law enforcement personnel, and related contractors. This shelter in place does not apply to employees and contract workers for utility, cable, telecommunication companies in order to maintain or restore services. And it does not apply to people providing fire, police, sanitation, security, emergency and hospital services, food delivery services, and other deliveries of merchandise and mail. In addition, the order does not apply to people seeking essential services or items. It does not apply to people supplying or restocking businesses in order to provide essential services or products. It does not apply to people employed by the federal, state, county, or city government or their agencies working within the course and scope of their public service employment. And it does not apply to people experiencing homelessness within the city.
Now, if the City Council approved this ordinance, it will go into effect today until April 3rd at midnight. Now, the mayor says arrests are possible for those who do not follow these restrictions. And like I said, the City Council is set to vote on this in about an hour. And once we get those results, we will relay them to you. Live in Birmingham, Xavier Harris, WVTM 13.
Xavier, thank you. Overwhelming evidence is how UAB is describing the number of growing cases of COVID-19 over the past few days in Jefferson County.
This is a dangerous situation that our community needs to take seriously, and everyone has an important responsibility right now to save lives. I'd like to reiterate to you, please, please stay at home. Practice aggressive social distancing. And what that means is stay at least 6 feet away from others. Sanitize the things you touch every day and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds often. Most importantly, stay at home and avoid others.
Officials with the Jefferson County Health Department expressing concern about the cost of the virus if people don't take it seriously and practice isolation and social distancing.
The cost of this virus are many, many, many lives that will be lost if it is not contained, if we do not do a good job. But those lives, that includes the lives of our mothers, our fathers, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, but also our healthcare workers, our doctors, our nurses, our lab technicians. Everyone who works in a hospital or in a doctor's office could be put at risk of this virus if we do not act now. This is why this is so very important, and it is going to take some time. Unfortunately, the changes that we make today, it may be a week or 2 weeks before we see the benefits of those actions. So I do ask that everyone remain patient through all of this.
Folks in West Alabama able to get tested for COVID-19, although there are restrictions. WVTM 13's Chip Scarborough has more on that and a shortage of testing supplies.
Well, testing for COVID-19 is back underway here at DCH Regional Medical Center. It had to be called off for the day on Monday because of rain, but let me step out of the shot and show you. You can see right now several tents are set up here outside of DCH should there be more rain later today. The hospital says on its website that supplies for testing for COVID-19 are very low here. They're using swabs, and only those who have a high likelihood of being infected will actually be tested here. You can kind of look through and see a van driving through there. They're going to drive into those tents over there where medical personnel are properly equipped to test those who may be infected. You see another car driving out there. We see a car or two coming every few minutes, but because of those tight restrictions, people aren't just driving up randomly to be tested. As you know, Mayor Walt Maddox announced last week that of the 1,000 tests that were taken here at DCH, about half of those were not able to be used, and the hospital later said on its website that enough testable material was not taken for those to be sustainable. So we're watching, we're monitoring this all week. DCH says that its testing location is open here Monday through Friday 8 to 5, as long as supplies last. Reporting from DCH Regional Medical Center in Tuscaloosa, Chip Scarborough, WVTM 13.
And we want to show you a look at the nation's major stock markets at this time. The major markets surged around 10% as Congress moves closer to passing coronavirus aid. And developments around the coronavirus pandemic continue to change by the hour. Our Matt Pritchard is in Washington with the very latest.
Much of the day has been centered on Capitol Hill as lawmakers in the Senate are working on a nearly $2 trillion rescue bill meant to help American workers and American businesses through this pandemic. Now, they say that they are getting closer and closer to a deal, even though just yesterday they were struggling to find common ground. Now, President Trump says that he is in favor of that bill and also said he would like the country to be reopened by Easter. That's April 12th, just under 3 weeks from now. In terms of the coronavirus, cases continue to spread here in the United States, now topping 50,000 cases with over 600 total deaths. That's according to Johns Hopkins University. In Washington, I'm Matt Pritchard reporting.
Right now, truckers are playing a big role in keeping things operating during this coronavirus outbreak, despite many challenges. Many say their hours are getting longer and their loads heavier. They're especially busy hauling things like groceries, toilet paper, and paper towels. Even medical supplies, because Governor Ivey declared a state of emergency that lifted a limit on hours of service, plus increased the weight of the loads they ship. Fenn Church, owner of Church Transportation, says he's proud to see how his drivers are responding to these challenges.
Truckers don't deal in fear. They have to get a job done. They hop in the cab and hit the road. Truckers always deliver, even if in the event of a natural disaster or an expanding crisis.
Church says he's never seen anything like this in his more than 30 years in the industry. He tells us his drivers, the main goal is to keep calm and keep on trucking. Well, big news out of the sports world. The Summer Olympics in Tokyo will be postponed. WVTM 13 Washington Bureau reporter Jared Hill found out what this means for the games.
We're not going to be seeing the Summer Olympic Games until sometime in 2021. Because of the coronavirus, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics are pushed back to sometime next year. The president of the International Olympic Committee and the Prime Minister of Japan spoke about this early this morning. The decision coming after continuing concerns over COVID-19. Now, we knew that this was a possibility, but just yesterday we were told that it could take weeks to make the decision. There was also pressure from the likes of Canada, Australia, as well as the United States to postpone the games. Now, we don't have a date just yet for this. We just know that it'll be before the end of next summer. But regardless of when these games actually happen, we do know that they're going to keep the name Tokyo 2020. Reporting in Washington, I'm Jared Hill.
The River Trace Galleria in Hoover is temporarily closed. Mall officials updated the website to reflect it as the mall as a whole is not open, but they do say essential stores and restaurants with exterior entrances are open. They did not say when the mall will reopen. Publix is now offering special shopping hours for older adults. Today was the first morning the grocery chain opened an hour early for those 65 and older. WVTM 13 Sarah Killian was in Gardendale, where there was a long line to take advantage of the hour.
Publix is giving senior adults an opportunity to get what they need without having to get out in large crowds. In Gardendale this morning, senior adults lined up before the store opened to take advantage of the special senior shopping hours. Starting today, Publix grocery stores are opening from 7 a.m. until 8 a.m. every Tuesday and Wednesday for adults over the age of 65. The CDC says adults 65 and older have an increased risk of complications from coronavirus. Publix is doing what they can to try to make shopping safer for seniors. The senior shoppers in Gardendale this morning were glad for that extra hour.
I'm not used to getting up this early, but it's fine, and I'm glad they're doing this for the seniors.
Because at times when the younger people are there, we can't get around and do what we need to do, you know. So this is great for them to do something like that.
Publix says they plan to offer this special senior shopping hour every Tuesday and Wednesday until further notice. In Gardendale, Sarah Killian, WVTM 13.
The main points hospitals and healthcare providers want us to follow as we work to fight COVID-19. Avoid crowds of 10 or more people. Do not attend concerts, sporting events, religious gatherings, movie theaters, or use public transportation, although that last one can be tough for some to avoid. Or practice social distancing by being at least 6 feet apart from one another. Wash your hands and regularly use sanitizer. And head to WVTM13.com so you don't miss any developments with this outbreak. You can sign up for our coronavirus newsletter to get updates on what's happening here and around the country. You can also find it on the WVTM 13 app.